Some nights, my harshest critic is the one in the mirror. The bathroom light hums faintly above me, the same way the fan drones in the corner. The sound is constant, steady, but it doesn't calm me. It only reminds me of the silence in the rest of the house. Everyone is asleep. Everyone at peace. Everyone but me. I stand over the sink, hands pressed against porcelain that's cooler than it should be. My reflection stares back, tired eyes, jaw clenched, forehead etched with the day. I should be brushing my teeth, washing my face, moving toward rest. Instead, I'm stuck here, watching myself replay the mistakes I can't let go. The meeting I fumbled earlier, the client who didn't sign, the email I forgot to send. Each one circles back like a ghost, but sharper, louder, crueler. And the voice delivering the blows isn't from outside. It's mine. You're failing. You should have done better. You're not enough. The mirror doesn't argue. It reflects. It throws back the same tightness in my shoulders, the same shame in my posture, the same story looping in my head. And the story feels familiar, too familiar. Some nights, I feel like I've rehearsed these lines more than I've rehearsed anything good about myself. The smell of toothpaste lingers faintly, but it doesn't mask the heaviness of shame pressing into my chest. I grip the sink tighter, restless, overwhelmed by the simple truth. Some nights, I'm not fighting the world outside. I'm fighting the voice inside. And it's a fight I don't always win. Sometimes I feel like I sabotage myself before the world even gets a chance. That's the pattern. Not clients, not competitors, not circumstances. Me. I've grown up in a culture that praises success like survival. Achievements weren't just goals. They were proof of worth. Every grade, every dollar, every milestone carried weight far heavier than its size. And somewhere along the way, I internalized it. If I didn't succeed, I wasn't just falling short. I was failing as a person. So now, when money runs tight, when a deal slips, when the pressure rises, the first person I attack is myself. It's almost instinct. I don't pause. I don't step back. I launch into criticism with words sharper than any colleague or client has ever spoken to me. And I wonder, do you speak to yourself in ways you'd never speak to others? I do. All the time. Do you cut yourself down for every misstep? Yes. Even for the small ones, no one else notices. It's strange how quick I am to show grace to others, and how slow I am to show it to myself. If a friend made the same mistakes I did today, I'd reassure them. I'd tell them it's normal, it's human, it's not the end. But in the mirror, I don't hear that voice. I hear the harshest critic I know. The universal theme is this: negative self-talk. And the truth is, it's not just about words, it's about identity. Every insult I throw at myself digs deeper than the mistake itself. It becomes a label, a definition. You're not enough. You're weak. You're a failure. And over time, those labels weigh more than the failures they're attached to. They become the story I live from, not just the story I tell. The mirror reflection becomes symbolic. It doesn't just show me, it reflects the voice inside me. Some nights, it feels like I don't even see myself clearly anymore. I only see the critic, staring back, daring me to believe his lies. But then there's a quiet truth I've read, a line that haunts me with possibility. Your inner voice can be your enemy or your ally. What if that's true? What if the mirror could show me something different? If the voice could change? But shame resists. It insists. It reminds me of every misstep, every flaw, every stumble. And so I stand here, suspended between two possibilities. Keep believing the critic, or imagine a voice that speaks to me as I would to a friend. Right now, the critic still wins, but something inside me whispers, it doesn't always have to. It was late in the week when it hit hardest. I lost a client. Not the first time, not the last, but this one stung. I had spent weeks on their file, chasing numbers, aligning details, convincing myself that closing it would be proof I still had it. Proof I was capable. Proof I was enough. But when they called to say they'd gone with someone else, the words landed like a verdict. The mirror was waiting for me that night. I stood in the bathroom again, the same fan humming above, the same faint light casting tired shadows across my face. Only this time, the reflection looked harsher, harder. The voice came quickly. You're worthless. You couldn't even hold on to that client. Why would anyone trust you? The thought loop didn't just play once. It repeated, louder each time, until it drowned out everything else. I'm worthless. I'm worthless. I leaned closer to the mirror, almost searching for evidence of the failure on my skin. My breath fogged the glass, warping my reflection. The face staring back was distorted, blurred, twisted by the condensation. It was as if even the mirror couldn't bear to show me clearly anymore. The overwhelming symbol was right there. The fogging mirror, my own image collapsing into something I barely recognized. I bowed my head, unable to hold eye contact with myself any longer. My hands gripped the sink, my shoulders hunched forward, my gaze fixed on the drain, as though shame itself pulled me down. The collapse gesture wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. Head lowered, eyes averted, spirit heavy. And in that silence, the emotional low cut deepest. It wasn't just about losing a client. It was about losing myself in the narrative that I was unworthy, unlovable, not enough. The mirror didn't fight me. It reflected me back as smaller, weaker, defeated. And I believed it. I am enough, even in mistakes. The words rose like a whisper I hadn't planned, not loud, not forceful, fragile, almost broken, but they surfaced anyway, cutting through the loop. I lifted my head slightly, eyes landing on the fogged mirror. With my hand, I wiped across the glass. The condensation smeared, then cleared, and for the first time that night, I saw myself again. Not perfect, not triumphant, just human. And in that human face, I caught something I had forgotten: resilience. I'm not my failures. I'm the one who keeps moving. The insight landed deep. I had been treating every stumble as proof of weakness, but what if the fact that I kept rising was proof of strength? What if my worth wasn't tied to outcomes, but to presence, persistence, humanity itself? I placed my hand on my chest, felt the steady rhythm beneath. Not racing, not frantic, just beating. Proof I was still here, proof I was still enough. I'm enough. I'm steady. I'm strong. Each repetition reshaped the silence. Each word reclaimed a piece of ground the critic had stolen. I looked back into the mirror. This time, I didn't see an enemy. I saw myself, not perfect, but present. Not flawless, but alive. And the shift statement anchored, compassion for myself is leadership too. Because how could I lead a team, a business, a family, if I couldn't lead myself with compassion first? The reflection in the mirror steadied. The skyline outside my bathroom window stretched dusky and calm, clear lines against fading light. No distortion, no fog, just clarity. And in that moment, I chose compassion. I chose to believe I was enough. Not after success, not after perfection, but now, even in struggle. Compassion for myself is leadership too. That truth only holds if I embody it. And for me, embodying it doesn't mean grand gestures or sudden revolutions. It means ritual, small, deliberate acts that shift the current of my inner dialogue. So I began with something almost embarrassingly simple, writing one kind sentence to myself, just one. Each night, before shutting down the day, I sit at my desk, the same desk where I've stared down numbers, signed contracts, planned futures. But now, it has a different purpose. I keep a small notebook there. It isn't a business ledger. It isn't a to-do list. It's just for me. I open it, and no matter how heavy the day has been, I write one sentence of compassion. Sometimes it's as raw as, I'm enough. Other nights, it sounds like reassurance. You showed up today, and that matters. Or it comes as perspective. Mistakes don't define you. Your persistence does. The words don't have to impress anyone. No one will ever grade them. No one will ever read them. They're not a message to the world. They're a message to me, and that privacy makes them real. The anchor action is the pen pressing into paper. The faint scratch of ink is grounding. It slows my mind, forces my hand to move at human pace, not the frantic speed of my critic. My breathing deepens as I write. My shoulders drop a fraction lower. After the sentence is written, I pause. I press my hand flat against my chest. I feel the steady beat beneath. Rhythm of life, rhythm of presence. My worth doesn't need proving. It's already here in that heartbeat. The grounding symbol in these moments is the hand on the chest. It's not just physical contact. It's a reminder that I can anchor myself, literally. I'm not a ghost of my failures. I'm not a collection of mistakes. I'm a man alive here, worthy of gentleness. But here's the truth. At first, it felt awkward, forced. Some nights, my critic laughed louder than my pen could write. I'd scribble the sentence quickly, slam the notebook shut, and feel like a fraud. But the practice isn't about perfection. It's about repetition, about returning, about making space for compassion even when shame tries to crowd it out. And over time, something changed. I began noticing that the more sentences I wrote, the easier they flowed. Not because I became flawless, but because I became honest. I didn't just write, I'm enough. I wrote things like, I stumbled today, but stumbling means I'm still moving. I forgot, but forgetting doesn't erase my worth. I tried, and trying is proof of strength. The notebook became a mirror that reflected me differently than the bathroom glass ever had. Instead of distortion, it reflected compassion. And slowly, I realized criticism might drive me to grind, but compassion allows me to grow. Because criticism leaves scars, compassion builds resilience. One night stands out. I had lost patience with my kids over something small. I carried the guilt with me for hours. My critic was merciless. "You're a bad father. You can't even handle a simple evening without snapping." That night, I sat at my desk, opened the notebook, and my hand shook. The critic screamed, "You don't deserve compassion tonight." But I wrote anyway. I was impatient, but I love my kids enough to keep showing up tomorrow. And something in me broke open. Tears came, not from weakness, but from relief. From finally realizing I could be flawed and still worthy of love, even from myself. That night taught me what the ritual really is. It's not about denying the critic. It's about offering another voice, gentler, truer. And the reassurance I've learned to carry is this: kindness to self builds resilience. Because every leader knows, resilience isn't just surviving stress. It's being able to rise again with your spirit intact. And that only happens when you stop tearing yourself down long enough to rebuild. Even one kind sentence steadies me. Even one moment of compassion shifts the weight. And in this practice, I don't just silence the critic. I remind myself that leadership begins here, in how I lead me. Even in this small ritual, I feel the weight shifting. Strength isn't in perfection. It's in treating myself with compassion. That's the truth I leave with tonight. For years, I believed strength meant never faltering, never doubting, never failing. I thought if I just worked harder, achieved more, kept winning, the inner critic would finally go silent. But I see now, the critic never quiets with achievement. It only grows louder. What quiets it is compassion. Not the absence of mistakes, but the choice to meet those mistakes with kindness instead of cruelty. This shift changes everything. At work, it means I can lose a client without losing myself. I can face setbacks without spiraling into self-destruction. My team sees a leader who is human, not a machine, and that humanity builds trust. At home, it means I don't carry the critic into the house. I don't let my family feel the weight of my self-condemnation. Instead, I show up softer, steadier, more open. In myself, it means the mirror isn't an enemy anymore. It's a place of practice, a place where I can look and see not just flaws, but a man still trying, still present, still enough. The mantra I hold is simple: I am enough. The closing symbol I carry is the mirror itself. Reflection steady. Gaze meeting gaze. No distortion, no fog. Just clarity. Just presence. Just me. And I know what's coming next. Because if my inner voice is harsh, dwelling on past mistakes deepens the trap. That's the next weight I'll face. Learning how to carry the past without being chained to it. But for tonight, I'll rest in this truth. Compassion isn't weakness. It's the strongest act I can give myself. And I wonder, what's one kind sentence you can say to yourself tonight? Strength isn't in perfection. It's in treating myself with compassion.